Hi everybody, my name is Lauren. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy to finally be doing this plant tour for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it and come in. Started with this little plant wall setup here. Eventually we would like to have a few setups like that along the wall there, but as of now we've just started right here. And we have first here our Million Hearts, the green version, which is really cute and adorable. If you guys remember, I talked about this plant before because it started flowering. I don't see any new flowers yet, but it is still doing well. And then I liked it so much that I got the variegated version as well. That is Lulu that you hear in the background. And then we have here a Hoya Crimson Queen. I believe it's the Queen, right? I think it's the Queen, and it's doing really well. It really likes this spot. It has all these white little leaves here are new, and so I really like this hanger. This is from Jofami. It was really easy to put up. The link is in the description if you are interested in using it, and it's hung by this one post here with these 3 screws, and it does come with an anchor to make it quite sturdy. It's really sturdy. And it comes with alternate hangers as well, so if you like the string look instead of the metal, you can do either. But as you can see, the sunroom is here, so it has all this light from these windows here, and this is a southwest facing window. All the windows along this apartment are southwest facing, so we'll go into the sunroom next. But that is so far the only plants that we have here in the living room. So just, oh, I never noticed this one vine with no leaves. So the next stop we have is our sunroom, which is one of my favorite rooms besides my room, of course. Hi, Mia. Mia, say hi. What are you eating? They just got shaved, so now they look all different. I love when their hair is shaved short. It's really cute. So me and my mom put this together really nicely. I'll kind of give you an up close look at everything. This centerpiece here is actually hung from the ceiling. So we had someone come and hang this for us, and we basically used it as, of course, a planter, but also like a kind of bistro table type thing. So it's floaty from the ceiling, and it's just so dreamy and pretty. And of course, first plant in here is the big mama Regal shield that I told y'all I've been doing that spider mite treatment on, and it's been looking beautiful ever since. Now that you can see it because it's in focus, and it's putting out leaves left and right. It's always putting out leaves. I have a string here holding up the center leaves because I had kept cutting off an insane amount of inflorescence, and as you can see, I have 2 more here. This thing has probably put out 6 inflorescence already, and it just keeps going. So those bigger leaves towards the back that have a little yellowing were the initial leaves that we first got it with that were attacked by spider mites. But overall, it's making a comeback and doing very well. And then this Brazil here is also doing very well. This thing is like twice the size it was when I first got it now, and that is all thanks to this southwest facing window. Southwest facing window, excuse me. And I got this from a grocery store in Pennsylvania. This was the last plant that I purchased in Pennsylvania. Literally the day before we left, I bought this plant. I went to the store for something else and saw this, and it was so full and luscious. I think one of these vines, this vine is double the length it was when I got it, but there's several here, and they were kind of wrapped around the top, so it was so full and beautiful. As you can see, the leaves are just so gorgeous. I really love the Brazil because I love the orange green combo. And so I will say, in this window, there you go, it does get a lot of light, obviously. So some of the leaves on the front are a little pale. They are a little pale, a little bleached because it gets a ton of light, but I really don't plan on moving it because it's growing so well, and I think it'll be fine. Oh my gosh, I just saw this leaf. Look at this leaf over here. This half moon leaf. Hold on, we're gonna focus on this. I keep changing it, so that's why it keeps not being in focus. There we go. Look at that leaf. That is so pretty. Yeah, I love this plant. So that is the Brazil. Next, we have the beast of a money tree. Like, this money tree is such a beast. Again, Mia, she goes wherever I go, so she's gonna be here throughout the video. Every plant that I've put in this sunroom has been doing so well. Like, this money tree is definitely another example of that. It was probably, this is all new. So it was probably down to probably like this high when we got it, and all of this came from being here. Like, look how massive these money tree leaves are. And I'm telling you, I was really not a fan of money trees. This was my mom's pick, but once it was in here and I saw how well it was growing, I fell in love with it immediately. And it's all just because of how well it's growing. This whole bottom portion, this whole entire branch, like, grew just from being in this sunroom. And at the bottom, we have another plant here. This is my mom's jade. We got this when we did my very first, sorry, I keep changing the focus to focus because I get closer, so I'm gonna try to make sure I'm staying on top of it and putting it back in focus. But we got this from my very first plant shop with me here in Dallas. So I was afraid of this plant, I'm not gonna lie. I was afraid of it because it's a succulent and I'm not good with succulents, but guys, look how well it's doing. Look at it, it's about to touch the floor. And when we got it, it was probably it was definitely hanging over, but it's probably only down to here. And all of this grew just from being here. I will say, I did initially have it on this windowsill right here, but it was crisping, it was too much light. That was in the middle of the heat wave where it was 100 degrees every day. And this window does get quite warm. It's actually really cool right now, but in that 100-degree weather, it was very hot. So it was burning in that spot, and my mom put it here, and ever since then, it's been doing great. So she definitely saved this plant. And back in this corner here, we have a little rehab orchid. Now, this orchid was my mom's orchid back from Pennsylvania, and it did bloom. She got it to bloom. It was beautiful, and then we kind of forgot about it, but I said I was going to rehab it. So these are the older leaves that's here, but it put out those two new leaves. I was gonna throw it out, I'm not gonna lie, but I saw signs of new leaf and I was like, all right, I won't give up. So it's sitting there. I did water it recently, so should be okay. For the first time, I rotated this tree, so it's on this nice thing here, so it's easy to rotate because if you can tell, maybe not one side is taller than the other side, so I rotated it so that this side could get taller. And next, my very first, is this my first? I want to say this is my first like propagation from a friend. So very early, like when I say very early, this was like one of my second propagations, and this is a boat lily from a friend, and she was so nice. When she saw me posting all of my plant videos and stuff on my personal Instagram, she was like, okay, my husband loves plants, so you should just come over and take some plants because he has a ton of plants. Just take whatever you want. So I got this, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I did not like this plant at first. I liked it when I chose it, but when I started growing it, I didn't like it anymore because of the way it was growing, and it was just looking crazy. But again, once we sat it here in this spot and it started trailing down and kind of growing along this windowsill like this, it looks beautiful now. Now it just looks amazing. And this is one of the first plants that I potted up into pond, and it loves it as well. It's not in the prettiest of pots, but it's there, it's thriving, it's doing its thing, and it is quite happy. So now that it's been in this spot, it's been putting out all of these, I guess, flowers in here, and they're just going crazy. It is definitely going crazy. So love the boat lily. Quick pan of the view when you're sitting here and you see me in the reflection. Is our cactus corner we have over here. Cactus / succulent corner. My rat tail, I need to repot this. For some strange reason, I decided to put it in this glass pot. Oh, decided to put it in this glass pot. I don't know why. And it's too small for it, really. It needs to be up potted. So I am slowly killing this fairy castle cactus. I don't know. Is the sun too much for it? Is that why it's bending over, or is it because it needs water? It's hard to water this. I have to repot it because the soil is terrible. I think I got that from Trader Joe, and the soil is like concrete, so that's probably why. And then I got this euphorbia. I cannot remember which one it is. I'll be putting the names of the plants on the screen, but let me turn it around since the sun is beaming in here now. There we go. Super cute euphorbia. I got this very recently, and I think I got it from Etsy. And like I said, I'll put the name on the screen because I'm not sure, but I did end up kind of repotting it because the soil, it wasn't much soil in the pot for some strange reason, so I repotted it a little bit. And then this cutie as well is super recent, like yesterday recent. I got this little bear paw. It actually came with another purchase. I purchased one plant and she was like, oh, well, it was a wet stick. She's like, I'm afraid if it doesn't do anything for you, do you want anything else? So she gave me this. So I said, sure, I'll take a little bear paw. Next up in the plant sort is my mom's room, where we have her magnolia tree. Let's see if I can get some better light for you guys. Look at Lulu. Hi, Lulu. How are you? How are you, booger? This is my mom's magnolia tree that I almost killed, but it's doing so much better now. The leaves are so much firmer. We don't have any crispy spotting leaves or anything like that. It's doing so much better. I'm like constantly watching it to see if we're gonna get another flower, but it always has new growth, so it's doing better. Even this whole little shoot right here put out a few more leaves. We have it in this big terracotta pot, also on wheels. Doesn't roll very well on this carpet, but it is there for help, and it's doing better. Also still in my mom's room, she has a little plant corner here. So of course, the infamous luxuriance that she wanted here, and it finally put out a new leaf. I was so upset when I was repotting it into a bigger plastic pot there. I tore the growth point off like a dummy, so that's why it's missing that tip there, but it's still expanding, so we'll see how big it gets. Hopefully it'll be closer to this size. And yeah, it's going crazy. Roots like crazy. It's in chunky soil and some moss on the top. And then her orchid, it just dropped all of its flowers, so I recently cut the spike down there, and hopefully it'll put out a new spike. But the leaves still feel great. She kind of, I don't know if this happened because of her pillow, but the tips are broken, but it's okay, it's okay. And the monstera, so this is from my original monstera that I had from the My Sad Plants video. And if you guys remember, I said I chopped it up, gave away some for a Wish Wednesday, and this is what's left of her. It's putting out new leaves here. It likes this spot here. This leaf is not on its way out. It's just when the light hits in the late afternoon, that's where it kind of reaches, and so that's where it's reaching down like that. But that is the plants in my mom's room. So just to give you some perspective, the plant corner is here against this back wall, and the window is about 20 feet away over here. That is one of my mom's faux orchids, which is really pretty, but it is a faux orchid. But yeah, so the window, the sunlight comes in really strong from that window, and it reaches all the way back here by about 5-6 o'clock. I'm gonna try to give you guys a little like overview of how the sun comes in the windows around 5 or 6 o'clock, because it's really pretty. So the next stop is my favorite spot, my room. can start at this first shelf, which is kind of my favorite. It is my most recent shelf like plant purchase, and I really love it. Got it from Home Depot for a great price. But I know y'all care about the plants and maybe the setup. I'll give you a little information about the setup, but I know we're really here for the plants. So starting up top, we have, actually, let me tell you a little bit about the setup and then we'll go through the plants. So this is the shelf, like I said, from Home Depot. This grow light here is from Amazon. This is the first time I've actually used this grow light. Sorry, this is the first time I've used this grow light. It was kind of a little difficult figuring out the setup because I didn't really want to take away from the pretty glass of this by having these lights showing, but I kind of didn't have a choice. And I'm not gonna lie, I really maybe don't need the grow lights because of how much light comes in here, but as you can see, it's not quite hitting here just yet. It's still pretty shaded. It doesn't reach here yet until about 6-7 o'clock is when it's beaming on here. So it gets about 2 hours of direct sunlight, but again, it is about 20 feet away from the window. So it's not harsh direct light, but it is a good amount. So I'll try to get a shot of that as well. But like I said, we got 2 light setups here, and all I did was kind of hook it back here with one of those little sticky wire hooks and run it down so that it's not hanging across the back. And same thing back here, lights are attached there and hooked behind the back there. And I just used a extension cord so that I could kind of run it along instead of it just hanging like that. So now onto the plants. First shelf here. This is my Dock Block F2. I believe it's crossed with I'll put it on, oh wait, there we go. There's a little tag here. Dock Block F2 crossed with a mag. And I got this in a plant tray not too long ago. It hasn't put out a new leaf yet, but it's also not dying and it has not lost any leaves. So we're just gonna let it do what it do. This here, I just got this yesterday. So along with that little bear paw that I showed you guys, she gave me this as well, again, because she was worried that the wet stick that she gave me wouldn't do anything. So she's like, do you want anything else? So I just potted this up in here. The roots it didn't have many roots, so that's why I put it in fluval. Then I just used this little rock here to hold it because it was hanging over. But I'm not gonna lie, and I told her this, I was like, I don't know if I want a carnosa because the compacta carnosa, I should say, because everyone like has issues with mealybugs with this plant, but I'm gonna try it out. But that's what we got there. And then my elbow is doing very well here. I think I've showed this to you guys recently, but also doing well. Super happy here, and it is pregnant. Gonna be putting out another leaf soon. So happy. If it could give me like 2 more leaves before winter hits, before it starts slowing down, that would make me so happy. And it probably won't fit there. I probably have to find a new spot for it, but you know, we'll worry about that when we get there. And that was kind of why I picked out this shelf, because I liked how it had a different size spacing clearance on the shelves. So moving down to the next one, look at this. I'm trying to not stand in the light so y'all could get a good amount of light here, but this crystallinum is just taking off so much. Like, it constantly has new leaves coming out like all the time. There's just like, it's insane. It's insane. It's a little bush. It's beautiful. I love it like that as a bush. I did have it closer to the window, and I moved it here because I wanted to see if I could get darker leaves. So hoping that this leaf will come out nice and dark. It is showing that it's going to be a little darker already than the older ones, but it's pretty perfect and beautiful. And it's funny, it's like, this is a newer leaf too. They don't all grow to be big because there's not enough space for them all. They kind of get bunched and end up getting the growth stunted a little bit because there's just not enough space for all of the leaves to fully expand. But either way, I'm really happy with it. I love it. And then we have my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which it used to be on the plank. I did put it on the plank with you guys, but as you may or may not know, when I moved, it lost most of its leaves. So I basically started the plant all the way over, and it's doing fine. I'm happy it's doing fine because I got this as a trade, so I really didn't want to lose this plant. Plants that I get from people, like, you know, like as a trade or was given to me, like I really don't want to lose the plant, you know. So I'm happy that it's doing better. And on the next shelf down, we have my Summer Glory, looking glorious. And, oh, sorry, it's not gonna be able to fit on there very soon. Putting out a new leaf. I just got this recently as well, and it's looking gorgeous, very gorgeous. Maybe I need to, it's in a super chunky mix, which I'm not used to, and here it feels like it's drying out every day. So yesterday after I watered it, the leaf felt much better, and now it kind of feels the same. So I'm gonna have to get into a semi-hydro so I can keep up with it. And over here, my gorgeous, gorgeous buttery, hold on, let me make sure it's focused for y'all. Buttery chia pens. So I need to bring it over so y'all can really see it proper, because it's a little shady over here. Hold on, let's get the light hitting it. Look at how buttery. We're still shaded. Where's the light? Oh, the light's all the way over here. Okay. Oh, whoo. The butteriness. Let me get y'all the newest leaf. Whoo. It's a little elongated, but the butteriness of this leaf, wow. I'm not gonna do that with every plant, but I just had to do that with that one. I'm sorry. Next to that, so I got this, I think with originally these 2 leaves here, and then this one came out almost immediately, and it's such a nice size. And then this one kind of feels like it's on its way out. I put it up in silica and it's been doing well. It has new roots. Ignore that algae down there. My Majestic, which I need to get it up on a pole because it's not gonna do very well. It is putting out a new leaf though, so that is good, but definitely need to get it on the pole so that it can do a little bit better for us, because as y'all know, that is one of my favorite plants. And then down here, over. Hi Mia, how are you? Okay, you gotta let me do what I gotta do. Thank you. Light's gonna be a little crazy, but we're gonna try to work with it. It, like I said, was saying, it's been putting out leaves very consistently, one after another, and they're sizing up a little bit. They're sizing up pretty nicely, even without a pole. But I like how they stay pretty dark, you know, in comparison to the lower leaves. This is still pretty dark, you know. Even this one here is a little older, also still pretty dark compared to the green ones. This one as well, so love the Dark Lord a lot. And I know that can grow to be a massive beast. So that is that one. And a little bit of decor over there. Just, you know, I'm not really like I'm trying my thumb at decor. And I think it's, you know, I think it's coming together. But while we're on the floor, we have my box, my bin for my imports. I really would have liked to have this ready for these plants to be up on this shelf, but to be honest, there's not a whole ton of room over there in the first place, and second of all, I rather have my plants like doing better than like just for my video to look good, you know what I mean? So let me give y'all a closer look at the bin. This will be like a little sneak peek update for y'all on how my imports from tropicals are doing. Of course, I will give you a much more detailed overview of how they're doing, but I just keep a light up here, which as you can see, it doesn't really need it because the light is hitting in here already, but I still put it to give it some overhead light as well. I'm gonna have to push y'all down to take this off because I don't want to behead any leaves. So quick overview. I'm not even gonna spend no time on this leaf because I know y'all tired of me talking about it. I've showed it several times and I said I wasn't gonna spend any time on this leaf, but come on now. I'm done. It's okay. We know it's great. My serpents is, you know, it's not looking great, but it's doing okay. Veitchii here, and what did I tell y'all? Remember what that leaf looked like before, because it wasn't going to stay looking like that. I think honestly that this just happened just because it was touching other leaves, which is really annoying, but it's the truth. And Veracosum is holding on, not looking great, but holding on. And then we have a Genevivianum in here as well, which is doing beautiful and putting out a new leaf. And then we have over here, if I can move this leaf out the way, a Squamico, also doing well. It's putting out roots, no new leaves, but roots, so that's okay. And I think my personal SB Columbia is in here as well. This is one of the leaves. I don't really want to disturb it too much, but y'all can see that leaf. Look at how pretty it is. So yeah, this is what I do with my imports. They're just gonna stay in here until I see, you know, a little bit something going on. I could have definitely taken the Bestiaire out. I'm actually not sure why I didn't. I could have definitely put that out somewhere, but it's okay. I like it here right now because of the way the light is hitting it. But yeah, that is that. I'm actually gonna slide it out of the way so we can get to the cabinet. I may not go over every single thing that's in the cabinet, but I will definitely say the names of most of the plants so that in case you're new to my channel, you can see what is going on here. So again, give you a slow pan overview of the cabinet. There's some prop boxes up there as well. That is where I keep them. And then I have a little storage down here as well where I keep some things. So briefly, in the cabinet, I use this for propagations and plants that are kind of sort of in a rehab situation. So that's what all of these plants are here. You got your philodendron burley marks, which is supposed to be variegated, but that's for another video. There's 2 in there, one here as well. Variegated giganteum looking good, bouncing back. Varicosum also bouncing back. There's a new leaf coming in there as well, looking good. My baby Bono, looking good. Philodendron Jose Bono again. I'll put the full name on the thing. I nickname everything, but I'll put the actual name of the plant on the screen in case you've never heard of the plant or is looking for the plant, would like to know the actual name of the plant and not what I call it. This is not any pest. This is just damp or dry moss from, I was messing around doing something else. So that is my El Chaco Red baby. And oh, this leaf's feeling a little soft. My White Wizard, but it is putting out new leaves, so I'm not too worried. That is that. Bottom shelf, we got a couple Hoyas back there. A Lucanosa here. This I got in the plant trade, and the Cordata right here. Oof, look at those little leaves it's putting out. Hold on, I gotta get that in focus because they're so tiny. Look at those little leaves it's putting out. I love little Hoya leaves, they're so cute. And the, hold up, and the Polynara. Look at it rooting so nicely. And we got a Plowmania back there as well. Doing good, putting out that pretty, well, I gotta, okay. So y'all see how that leaf is bent? I gotta get that out of there. So if you're interested in the details on the setup of my cabinet, I do have a video on that as well, exactly showing all the products that I used to set it up. It's very simple, and as you can see some wires here, so it's not like the perfect setup, but honestly I didn't feel like doing too much in terms of drilling holes, running lines, you know. I don't mind. It really doesn't bother me that it's not like perfect, so I left it like that. And we have some Esmeraldas that are actually doing well, not like another one, which you will see in the future. Can y'all believe this is my little Gloriosum that is coming back to life? So yeah, we got some Esmeraldas over here, a little baby Anthurium that I grew from seed over there, another Hoya. What's this? Bertonier. Now this I got from Monica, one of you guys, and look, it's growing new leaves. She gave me 2 Bertoniers, long lines, and I chopped them all, put them all in. Oh, it's like maybe like 2 or 3 known cuttings, and it's doing great. I was worried, but it's doing great. And then this one, what's this? Hoya Waliana, I don't. I'll figure out the name to put on the screen. I'm sorry if you hear that noise. Lolo, can you give us a little bit of a break? Thank you. Okay, on the next level, we got a little seed we're growing there. I can see the root. Let's see if we got anything coming out. Oh, we got something coming out. We got something coming out. That is a variegated alocasia fly deck. So excited about that. Another anthurium that I'm growing from seed in here. So this is a heat mat. This is where I keep my baby seeds, corms, whatever, so that it can stay. The fact that this plastic is dry, it tells me that there's no water. It tells me that there's no water in here and I need to add water, but oh, it's putting out a new leaf. Oh, okay, we're gonna get you to focus. Here you go. It's putting out a new leaf. I love growing anthuriums from seeds. They're really satisfying to grow from seeds. Those and allocations from corms and collocations from, what do they call those? They don't call them corms. Bulbs? What do they call them? I don't know. I love growing things from bulb, corm, and allocations. I mean, anthuriums from seeds. I don't know if I like growing all plants from seeds, but definitely anthuriums from seed. So that is down here. I think this is I believe it's a serpent's. I'm actually not sure, only because I threw it in a prop box and then found it putting out a leaf, but I believe it's a baby serpent's. My variegated philodendron, and then my macodes back there, which is not doing well, but it's surviving. It's not thriving, but it's surviving. So that is all that's going on in my cabinet. And onto our next shelf here. That sunlight is starting to hit us. I might have to close the blinds, but we'll see. I do have this light here, and let me talk about that for just one moment. The lighting that I have in my room, I try to use more so regular lamps and things, but then you'll also see that I have some grow lights as well. And I use the quotation marks because it's really just a bulb. You know, it's not necessarily something where one lamp, like it's all producing light, you know what I mean? So it's just the setup that makes it a grow light versus not. So I just kind of like researched strengths of bulbs and different, you know, features of bulbs that would be good for plants. And so I picked a bulb, found a nice lamp, and made it a grow light, you know. So you'll see I have another kind of arm light, which I don't really like, but I'm trying to transition more to this. And then if we look up to my ceiling, I did the same thing. These bulbs here and there. This one over here is empty because I had an issue with it. I did the same thing. These bulbs here are for plants, you know, like they're grow light bulbs, but they're just light bulbs, you know, of a certain strength and quality that will help help plants to grow. So I try to kind of incorporate that in my room as a whole and not just in, you know, lights here and there. So anyways, I'm still learning a lot about lights, so I can't really explain all the different features and things like I would like to. So that's all I'm going to say about it for now, until I can get my words together better about it. But anyways, this is my philodendron Mame Silver. It just put out this pretty little leaf, and I repotted it into leca. I believe I got that from Ecuagenera at the same time that I got the one for you guys. And then we have this, which for the longest time was my favorite pothos, the Pothos Enjoy. Of course, I was getting it mixed up like with the jade, because the pearl and jade, because it just are so similar, you know. But I got this one. It was, you know, it was $3.99, so I said no problem, I will take it, you know. And so it's just starting to grow. It's been super slow for me. Like if you can see, this leaf is kind of white compared to those that are yellow. That's the only new growth that I've gotten, and maybe this other little tiny white one over here. Like it's been such a slow. Okay. It's been such a slow grower for me. So yeah. And my, what's this called? Selby. Homalomina. My Homalomina Selby, which I love the pattern. It's new, it's leaf. Looking gorgeous. Oftentimes I bottom water this plant. I just put water in this cover pot and throw the nursery pot back in there, and it loves it. And it's a very vocal plant, so it just kind of will droop and curl down, and that's when I know to put some water in there. On the next shelf, working our way up, some more Hoyas. I wonder, I'm still gonna do it because I'm gonna be showing you guys most of my Hoyas here today, but I'm sure by the time I'm ready to do the video I'll have more. So Don't worry about it. And just because somebody may see this video doesn't mean they'll see my Hoya collection video. So I'm still gonna do it, so don't worry. But y'all are gonna see a lot of them today here. Pretty much all of them. My Hoya Crimson Princess? I get the Queen and Princess confused. I believe this is the Princess, but I like this because of how pink this is. It's really pretty. The little tricolor, trifecta, potted up in silica, putting out new leaves there. I think these are the first new leaves that are going to be in my care. I don't know if these were as well. I don't think so, just these ones. I had it for a little while. Transitioning it to silica kind of slowed it down a lot, but it's doing okay. And then I got a Hoya Ovada Splash. I'm feeling it because I got it a couple weeks ago and it was kind of soft, so I'm like hoping that it will take up water. I put a lot of water in here, hoping that it will take up some water. It didn't have, the roots were a little young, so hoping that it'll be okay. I think it will, because if my Croniana can bounce back, if y'all had seen my Croniana, and actually it's looking how it looked before. Look how wrinkly the leaves are. I gotta give it some more water. Oh yeah, look, the water is like all the way at the bottom. Okay. That happens. Yeah, that's basically how I water my Hoyas. If the leaves start looking a little wrinkly, I try to catch it before then, but yeah, it plumped all the way back up, but you know, it's been a couple days and now I need some more water. So that, I guess because it's in a small pot or it has small leaves, I don't know, but this Croniana tends to dry out quickly. Anywho, behind that we have a Hoya Crinkle 8. We have a Hoya Crinkle 8 and it's doing okay. It's a little bit of a slow grower, but it's doing okay. I'm not sure what happens to this leaf. I did have it in my cabinet before and I just recently moved it out, so that was already looking like that before then though, so I don't know. And my very first Hoya that I ever purchased, let's move this lamp out the way, is my Hoya Pubic Calyx Splash. Love this Hoya. I have it just on a wire here that I made from a hanger. And one thing I will say about this light too, sorry to go back off topic, but I really wish that when I bought this light, I thought that I would be able to bend the arm up further, and it can go down, but that's as far up as it can go. So if you find something, you might find something that works better for you, or if you have a plant shelf that is shorter, this would be perfect for it. I just kind of made it work anyways, just because I do like the style of the lamp, but I would prefer something to be able to go up, you know, but the sunlight is clearly hitting here. So again, it doesn't necessarily need it. I just like to have, you know, even kind of light. But back to my Hoya Pubic Calyx, doing so well. Look at this pretty leaf. Look at how pretty that is. The way that it's like pink, so pretty. So yeah, this is always putting out new leaves, going crazy. And on the top shelf, we have my now favorite pothos, which is the Manjula. I love this pothos. It's so pretty. The leaves are getting to be a nice size. Look at this leaf. Wow, that is so pretty. And I just have it trailing down, and it's kind of like curling over this way towards the light, and then it's kind of going up on this side as well. I love this thing. I think there's 2 vines. Yeah, I have 2 vines going up. So pretty. And then my personal first orchid that I got from Whole Foods is doing good. I will say the one time when I watered it, I think I gave it crown rot because I lost the lower 2 leaves. I think I let it sit and soak in the water too high up, and so that I lost the lower leaves, but it's putting out a new one. Doing okay. I haven't cut the spike yet, only because now it looks like these 2 are about to bloom still, maybe, which will be so nice. And yeah, so that's why I haven't cut it yet. Last but certainly not least, my lipstick plant, my favorite plant. It has made such a comeback, and as I said, look guys, it is blooming. This is only the beginning of the blooms. Like, the blooms on this plant are amazing. This is just literally the bottom part. It gets so much bigger than that. So it's growing a ton. All of these kind of darker vines here are the newer ones here compared to this lighter green here, and it's putting out some new ones back there as well. I'm not looking forward to having to repot this plant, but I know I will have to at some point. But yeah, it's doing so good. Like, look how the if you can tell how the vines are kind of like curled up a little bit, because it's just reaching up towards the light, and it's just doing so good. I love this plant. This plant made the biggest comeback, and I just have so much respect for this plant. So much respect for it. Now this is kind of like my main plant corner. This was like the first plant corner that I kind of started, and then it kind of spread across the room. But let's start at the bottom, and actually I'm gonna jump to this plant just because I want to move it right now. I literally just picked this up, y'all. If y'all maybe didn't see my video about what did I call it? I think maybe called it Underrated Plants Part 2. I was looking for this plant, and I literally just got it, and it's already starting to curl up. So plant care tips for this plant, please let me know. But I need to get it maybe out of the sun. I think I'm gonna put it in this bin because I know it likes high humidity, and it's the leaves are starting to wilt. Okay, let me put it, I'm just gonna put it here for now in the shade so it's not getting blasted by the light. Anywho, let's start down here at the bottom. My ficus teneki, which is doing so well, putting out new leaf after leaf. This was kind of one of the first plants that I started playing around with the soil mix in. I got this probably when I first moved here for like $16, and I was just amazed by that because in Pennsylvania this thing was like $20 to $40. It was $40 actually in the store, but I got a little tiny one online for $20, and then I got this for $16. So I'm just so happy about that. It is putting out another leaf here. There we go, this little tip. Behind that, another one of my favorites. I feel like I say that all these plants are my favorites, but it's just like this time of year the plants are just doing so well that everything is my favorite now. So this black velvet is one of them. This plant I was ready to give up on, throw out, chuck it. Like I was done with it. I had two because I ordered one online and then saw that there was one in the store for a great price, so I got another one. And look at how, I think I actually might pull it out just to show you guys how well it's doing. Like this thing is such a beast. Is the light too red? Okay, there we go. Like it is so full, so many pups. Like it's amazing. This is one of the older leaves obviously, but oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. And I was worried that, you know, in that spot by the window would be too much light, but it loves it. Like it absolutely loves it. It's just doing so well. And you can see the root system is insane. So yeah, ever since I moved this plant to pond, that is when it flourished. I put the two plants together in one and moved it to pond, and it's been so happy ever since, just because me and alocasias, we don't do well in soil. So speaking of alocasias, my Friday, it was doing well, and then I did something dumb, and so now it's rehabbing again. So it's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna make a comeback, and I think it's gonna be okay. All I did was I had it in a no drainage vessel, and I was treating it for spider mites, but I forgot to rinse out the vessel that was pretty much drowning in the solution, and so it rotted all the roots, and it had such a robust root system, but I ruined it. Anywho, mistakes, you know, happen. My Homalomina rubescens pink variegated is a beast. Let's try to get all the way back so we can get the whole thing in the picture. There we go. This thing is a beast, and it's just like sprawling out. It was hard for me to find a spot for it because it just sprawls out everywhere. I might move it here. It might be better there, and then I'll have more space here. I don't know, we'll see. But it's in a no drainage pot with some soil, chunky soil, and look at the bottom. As you can see, these roots are just insane. Very happy plant. And my humidifier is hanging out back there. I have not turned it on for a while now, and I probably won't until winter hits. Now, this plant also made a comeback. This was in my sad plants as well. And if you guys remember, I had this wild leggy looking thing of a golden goddess, and it has spider mites. but it's okay. We'll take care of that. But it's doing very well. Like it's coming like all the way back. Like all of this lime green up here is all completely new. The only thing that was here is these darker ones down here. So it's doing amazing, besides the fact that it has spider mites, but that's an easy fix. We'll take care of that. No worries. Back here, my poor Dieffenbachia, not this leaf. There we go. It was doing okay, and I moved it because I'm not gonna lie, I was tired of looking at it only having 2 leaves. It used to be on this stand here, and I moved it down, and that's when it started yellowing. It was not yellowing the entire time until I moved it, which I don't understand because it's still, as you can tell, getting a significant amount of light. But I do need to unpot it and resituate it, look at the roots, and just like, you know, give it a fresh new start so that it can actually thrive. So that's gonna take a little minute. I have to like make the time to do that, but that is what's back there. And then this baby here, my philodendron McDowell. Ooh, look at that leaf. This was the first leaf in my care. It came out a little wonky. I was a little worried, but then we got this one looking so perfect. And I was like, wow, I was just so proud. This is the original leaf it came with. Oopsies. And it crisped up, you know, it was just being dramatic from moving, which is understood. But if you guys remember, I talked about this plant in my plant regrets. I regretted buying this plant because of how it grew. I didn't like how gangly it was growing. And look at it now. Look how close the nodes are now and how it's growing. I don't know if it's because of the amount of light that it's getting and that's why it's staying, you know, the nodes are so close, but I love it now. As you can see, the next growth point there, and it has a leaf coming out of it, a little tiny green tip coming out of there. It's putting out a leaf also, and it's super close. The node is very close to the previous node, so I think it's gonna keep growing in a way that I can appreciate and that I will still love it. So that is my McDowell, doing great. So this is another one of those lights I was talking about. Like, it is particularly a grow light, but I don't like it, but it's there just to give me some balance, because as you can see, the light comes in this way, but this shelf it's not glass, you know, so there is some more shade over here, which I do like to take advantage of for plants that would like more shade, but at the same time I do want to get some light on this side. So that is why I have that light up there, even though I don't really know if it's serving any purpose. But let's move up to the next shelf. We have a Syngonium macrophylla here, and I just recently changed this into leca, which I think is going to do much better because it was in a chunky soil mix and I just wasn't able to keep up with it. So I think it's going to be happier here. I was losing leaves left and right. These look like they still want to go away, but I'm gonna let it be for now. And then back here is the Anthurium propuncum. We almost lost that plant. We put it in leca, seemed like it was okay. Roots rotted away completely. Not sure why, but we put it into water and it is putting out new roots and a new leaf. So hopefully next time we pot it up, it'll do better. I may put it into pond because all of my anthuriums are in pond and they pretty much love it. I chose leca because I was being cheap with my pond, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And next shelf up is my Ludicea discolor, and I love this plant. Like, the color on this, I gotta get some shade so y'all can see the true color. Yeah, the color of this is so pretty. This dark goldy olivey green with the pinky peachy stripes. It's beautiful. So I did have it further back in my shelf. You can see how it's kind of reaching. It does grow kind of sprawling like that, but it seemed like it was reaching a little too much, so I brought it out further to give it a little more light. And then, so I hope that it'll do better there and it won't stretch so much. And then next to it, we have a marble queen pothos just trailing down, so pretty. This I originally had in a pretty full pot, a pretty full hanging pot but I tried to put some of it up a plank and let the rest trail down. And I don't know, over time, it just wasn't doing well in that pot. I don't know if it was me, the soil, or a combo of the two, but it was starting to look super bald and leggy and I didn't like it anymore. So I just took it out and put it in water. So I'm just gonna grow it in water in this nice tall vase. Of course, there's quite a bit of algae down there because it's sitting next to this window. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Maybe I'll put it in a tall vase, but it just won't be a clear vase, because this spot with this window, anything here clear will always get a ton of algae. But this is growing so well up here. All of this came in nicely. This whole chunk is pretty new. So yeah, it's doing well. We did lose quite a few leaves in the transition. Not sure why, but I'm gonna leave it for now. But you know, it is what it is. Moving over is some propagations. This here is a Syngonium mojito. You maybe can't really see the mojito going on there, but I chopped it from this plant here, which is doing fabulous. I'm trying to remember, why did I chop it? Oh, I think I chopped it because this one was starting to droop and the other one was doing fine. So I chopped it to root it separately. Or did I? No, it was already chopped, but it both had aerial roots on them, but for some reason this one wasn't doing well. So I chopped it to have it continue rooting separately in water. And then I have another propagation of a glorious, Philodendron glorious back here. This is the other leaf that goes to it. It has 2 leaves. And then I have a sad domino peace lily. I love domino peace lilies, but I've yet to purchase one that I really like. I just got that one as a Wish Wednesday, and it's okay. It's not the biggest or greatest specimen, so it's just, and I'm probably not giving it enough light, but I just didn't have a spot or a vase to put it in that I really liked, so that's why it's kind of like hidden back there. But my pink princess, this is the prettiest leaf it's given me yet. This one's pretty as well, but that's wild. And it's working on another leaf as well. It grows pretty consistently. It had a little bout. It was doing really well, and then I moved, and then it wasn't, and now it's recouping. Now it's recouping and it's doing better. I do kind of get this like melting and crisping of the older leaves, not sure why. And then hiding back there is my Raphinophora decursifi. I used to love that plant, and then so what happens with me is this: if a plant starts looking and not looking the way that I really want it to look, I start kind of pushing it towards the back. If I'm not ready to give it up yet, but I don't really want to see it still, but I'm not ready to give it up yet, I just push it back there. So it's back there in the corner because I don't really love it right now, but I'm not quite ready to get rid of it. It's not even like I'm not ready to get rid of it. I just feel bad. Like I feel bad throwing it away, but it's also bad to put it in a corner. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but it's back there surviving but not thriving. Oh, my skeletal leaf finally opened up. So here we have a Monstera esqueleto. I got it as this 2-leaf cutting. No roots, like fresh cut, but this is the newest leaf that it put out in my care, and the roots look pretty good. The roots are going crazy. Roots are definitely going crazy. Monsteras to me are so easy to root. They're just so robust. So this is doing good. Probably maybe after one more leaf comes out, I'll put it up on a stake, a pole or something. And next to that, we have a snow queen pothos. So a little bit different from the marble queen pothos. It doesn't have the sectorial variegation like this against the green. It's just that speckled variegation, which I love. Love this. So hopefully that will start to trail beautifully as well, just like its cousin over there. But yeah, also in Leca. And then, as I alluded to earlier, I have a Syngonium mojito as well. You can kind of see the, hold up, there you go. You can see the mojito-iness there on that one. And this is the first leaf in my care. I got this in a trade as well. I think I traded it for a Piper crocatum, I believe. And look at the new leaf it's about to put out. Whoo! That is a nice one. Like, that's gonna be a nice size. So I'm excited for that leaf to come out. That's gonna be so nice. I find that like this has a little, I'm trying to remember if this yellowing was here before or not, or if it's because it's in so much sun. Look how nice and shiny it is. It's shiny because I did the whole neem oil pest spray thing because it has spider mites, and now it's looking glorious. Speaking of glorious, we got the philodendron glorious over here, and I chopped it to take it to a plant tree, and it's finally putting out its first leaf. Let me take it out the sun for y'all. So this plant was an import and from Green Spaces ID, and it's been doing well. Literally from the moment that I got it, it never gave me an issue. And when I chopped it, it put out this leaf. It kind of got stuck on the stake there. I tried to move it, but it was like kind of sort of attached, so I just left it, and it looked really weird, but somehow it made its way out. It still looks weird, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it because it also activated this little growth there, so I'm gonna leave it and let it do its thing. I'm not gonna bother it, and we're gonna see how it does. But yeah, it's been sitting there. It loves that spot as well, continuously grows there. Pretty much, if I'll usually watch the plant pretty closely. You know, if I put something here, I'm very cautious about what plants I put in this spot because you can see how much sun gets in here. So, you know, I'll usually just kind of see how is it acting, is it okay, is it burning, is it dying, and then I'll try to move accordingly. But if I see that it's moving towards the light and it's not burning, then I just leave it. So speaking of, my Parviso Verde that you guys might have seen recently loves this spot. Like all of the leaves within 1 to 2 days completely face this window. And now that the sun is coming through here, it is quite warm, and I know that this plant likes warmth, so that's why I put it here, hoping that it will get the warmth that it needs. The roots are doing very well. I grew it in chunky perlite, and then once it was, you know, big enough, pretty much too big for the cabinet, I moved it out here into Leca, and it's been loving life. I actually need to put some more up here. I forgot I was supposed to do that, but it's also working on a new leaf. Next to that is my Syngonium, which I just repotted yesterday. I repotted it because I had chopped it down because it was one long leggy vine, and so all of these propagations here I added and then put it on this lazy pole, which is not quite sturdy, but it's there for now. But yeah, the Syngoniums, my Syngoniums are doing pretty well in this window. It can take the light and it grows very well. As you can see, it's like all reaching that way, so hopefully it continues to do very well. And back there in that corner, I just don't know what to do with this Esmeraldens. This is an Esmeraldens narrow. It hates me. I had it initially in the corner behind me, which I will show you in a little bit, and it wasn't doing anything for a while all the other plants that I put there at the same exact time started doing very well. So I figured it wasn't getting enough light. It wants more light. So I moved it here to give it some more light, and it's still just doing terribly. I just need to look at it closer. The roots are probably rotted, and I probably need to reroot it, and I need to put it back in the cabinet because it's just not doing well anywhere. Next to that behind here is my Croton. So this Croton is my actual very first propagation and first like plant that I took home. And the Monstera was my first purchase. The Monstera and the, I don't have it anymore, the Cordylan, I gave it to a friend. But those were my first purchases. This was my first propagation that I took from my mom's plant. If you guys saw my last video, I talked about how my mom always buys outdoor plants every spring and summer. And so this was one of them. It was a nice big full plant. And I said, oh, I like that. I'm gonna practice propagating. And I took some plants off of it from her. And it actually lost every single leaf in the move. And it was just a bunch of sticks, and it completely came back. So I'm not gonna lie, it's not one of my favorite plants in terms of the way that it looks, but there's just some sentimental value because it was one of my first. It came back from the dead. It's a trooper. I took it from my mom's plant, and so I just can't give it up. So I like to see it, but I don't really like to see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not in a nice pot. I don't really love the foliage, but I don't want to let it go, and I still want to see it. So that's why it's back there. And down to this windowsill is like the only plant that can survive, that is fit to survive on this windowsill is my Diuna Dual. I believe it's a desert plant. I was talking to one of you guys in the comments about it, and I did read the same thing, that it is a desert plant. It could take lots of light and little water, so that's why I put it there, because it's hot. I'm starting to sweat standing in this windowsill. So It's so cute. I love it. Hoping that, I know it's a super slow grower, so I just put it there and don't worry about it. My little Furbo camera in the background. I used to use that a lot in my apartment when I would leave the dogs home all day alone, but now they're home with my mom, so I don't really have to use it, so that's why it's in the corner there. But yeah, so I think that is everything for this little corner that we have here. So this last corner is all of my climbing plants, or most of my climbing plants that need poles or planks or such like that. I put in the way that I chose, and in general, I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit. The way that I choose like where to place plants is the setup of the room, like how the light comes into the room. Even though this is right next to the window, it's not beaming with light, and that's because this bump out here is protecting it, so it's giving it some shade. So the plants that do not like direct high light, you know, for long periods of time, I put in this corner here. And a lot of my climbing plants are that, my dark velvety plants are that. So, and then plants that like my Anistonii, it doesn't really mind, you know, either way it'll be fine. Those type of plants I put here as well. Now at one point there will be kind of like a divide along here where the plants from here and over are going to get that high direct light, but from here over it's still going to be pretty shaded because of that wall that we have here. And I don't know why I'm acting like, well, these are for decoration. They are kind of to filter the light a little bit. Not that it's doing much filtering, but obviously it's more for decoration than anything. We have down here on this bottom shelf a couple things. My Piper crocatum, doing well. I was worried if it would like this spot. I was wondering if it would be too much light for it, but it's super bouncy, as you can tell. I think it likes it a lot. Constantly putting out new leaves. They're not coming out, this one is still expanding, but they've come out pretty small so far. Still, you know, they are the first leaves in my care, and it is in soil, and I'm not that great with soil, but you know, we'll see. We'll see if I need to change it up or anything, but for right now it seems quite happy. I guess I'll see how these next few leaves come out if they don't size up. I mean, mind you, it is at the top of the pole, but I might not be watering it as frequently as it needs to be watered. Over here we have some random water propagations. My epi that I almost killed for the second time. I had to rescue it, unpot it, and put it into water to reroot it, and it has rerooted. I just haven't had the chance yet to pot it up. And over here, Philodendron brandiatum, which I don't like it. I traded for it, and I just traded for it because I had something that he wanted, and so I was like, okay, fine. And I'm not gonna lie, the brandiatum was fine when I got it, but I just don't really care for the plants. So I didn't pay enough attention to it, which that's my fault. You know, it's my fault. I don't blame anyone else but myself. Moving on to something I do like. I love this silver sword. Like, look at how different and how much it stands out, you know, of all the green. Like, that silvery blue silver sword is just amazing. So, and this grows very well also. It grows super consistently. It was funny, it put out all of these leaves like back to back, like within a week or one, you know, every 1 to 2 weeks it was putting out new leaf. And then once it got here, it kind of stopped for a couple weeks and it wasn't putting anything out. And I had moved it from my cabinet, so I was like, oh man, is it not okay here? But then it finally worked on a new leaf, so it's doing okay. Hopefully it is this size or larger. If not, I may need to reconsider. Maybe it wants a little more light, or maybe I just need to move it to the end here so that it gets a little more light just from being over here. What is this Stay Blue doing on my crocatum? Over in this corner is another Pothos and Joy. So this was actually a plant that my mom wanted. Why it's in here with me, I don't know. She picked this out. You know why? I was supposed to put this in the planter that's on the wall in the living room, but she didn't like it in there because it wasn't trailing down, so that's why it's there now. So I said, it's gonna be something one day, Mom. It's gonna trail down. She's like, yeah, well, it's not there yet. Like, okay. So it got banished to here. Not banished, not that this is not a nice home for it, but it's not where it was not originally part of the plan for it to be here. Next shelf up, we have a couple of things going on here. Like, okay, obvious elephant in the room is this Sable Blue. I'm annoyed about this Sable Blue because when I got this, it looked good. Like, it looked so good. And I did repot it, not like completely. I didn't even disturb it. The person had it in moss. All I did was add some soil around it because I had my own stable blue that I needed to rescue, and I potted it together. And I don't know, I put it, it was hanging out in the living room on that 3-plant wall planter, and every day or two the leaves just started looking worse and worse, and now it looks like that. So I took it out of the living room, but I don't want it here either. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it wants from me, so I'm still figuring that out. Next to that is my Monstera accoyogensis, which is another plant that I'm not quite understanding what's going on with it. Like, it grows prolifically. Like, when I had it in my cabinet, it was growing like crazy, but it was putting out all of these little juvenile leaves. So I was like, all right, that's cool. You know, the first leaf or two will be juvenile, but it just continues putting out these juvenile leaves. So I said, okay, let me get it on a moss pole. That's what it needs. I put it on a moss pole, and I'm still getting all these juvenile leaves. If you can see like how it has the long ruffly leaf, and it'll start to fenestrate. It's like not working towards that at all. So I'm not sure why I'm not getting it to mature, but it's not maturing. I'm gonna keep working on it though. But the root system, you might think this is a huge pot for this, but the root system was crazy. So that's why it's in such a large pot. I know you can't see the root system now, but let's see. That gives you some idea of what it's looking like. I don't feel like moving it, sorry. But yeah, some more water propagations. Why are these here? I don't know why these are here. Oh, this came from the other plant, the other tall marble queen that's on the other shelf. It couldn't fit in that long vase, so I just put it here. And next to that, or behind that, we have my Splendid. It's finally looking so good. Like, it looks so good now. And working on another leaf back there, doing so swell. You see where we came from? Look at where we came from. Look at this. Look at where we're at now. Such a pretty leaf. Right next to its cousin, the Milano. Milano cries on here. And same thing, this was an import. Well, this one was an import. This one was from Dave. This one's an import, but it was looking janky is what I meant as it's same. And I finally put it up on a pole, and now it's doing so much better. So much better. And I think it really likes this spot. It has a new leaf too, because it gets light, but not like a whole lot of direct light, but it's still a high amount of light. Like, it's a high amount of indirect light. So I think that's why it likes it so much. I really my plants really wouldn't be thriving as much as they are if it wasn't for this southwest facing window. Like, it's just amazing. And that's a huge reason why I'm so hesitant on moving. I do not want to move at all, because I don't want to, I'm sorry, it was out of focus that whole time. I don't want to have to deal with less light and less windows, because if y'all saw when I did the little overview, the windows go from wall to wall. Like, it's amazing. Anyways, moving on to my pastazanum. Let me move this out the way. Doing so good. I think this plant is a crawler. It looks like it wants to start crawling. I mean, I'm sure if I tried to put it up on a pole, it'd be fine too, but I think it wants to start crawling. But I guess I'd have to repot it for that. But it has a lot of nice, beautiful leaves, this being its newest one. I am waiting for it to size up a little bit more, but it's still doing very, very well. This I grew this plant from a chunk, just a little baby chunk, and now it's so big and beautiful. Oops, I'll put my silver sword back, and we'll go to the next and last and final stop of this plant tour. My Adansonii here that I rehabbed from a sad looking plant, but Adansonii are pretty easy to grow. I love how this was the wide form. I like how chunky it is, how wide it is. It's very sparkly and pretty. If you ever get to get a nice close look at it in like a lit situation, not the sunlight, but like camera lighting, it's so shimmery, it's so pretty. So it's super full. I do have it on a plank. It's somewhere back here. I probably need to reattach it because it's, as you can see, it's sprawling out pretty wide, so it does need to be reattached. I just haven't had the chance to do so. And then, speaking of sprawling out really wide, Oh my gosh, it was such a pain, like repositioning this begonia and trying to get it up on these stakes. I'm happy that the leaves started all, you know, facing this way and turning itself. I wasn't sure we'll be able to with how many leaves were facing the other way. I'm like, is it going to be able to resituate itself? But it did. Let me not ever doubt nature, because it did. It pretty much, most of the leaves, there's still a few over here that are still turned the other way, but most of the leaves have resituated themselves and they're facing forward, very pretty. There is a vine down here that I just was not able to get up on a stake because it just couldn't fit, so that is coming downwards, but everything else looks so good. Again, always blooming, like in a self-watering pot, which is probably super dry and I probably need to water it, but it's there. So after I'm done with this video, it's probably water everything. In the last plant, certainly not least, which I really can't even get a good view of because of this begonia, is my N Akard Rose. Look at it, it's so pretty, doing very well. Also, it loves this spot as well because it gets light, like I said, but it's not like super direct light, but because you see how dark the foliage is, it's so pretty. I love how dark this foliage is with the red back. Like, it's just so rich, you know. And so it's doing good. It's doing good in this little corner. It's always putting out new leaves. Newest ones up top here. Hold up. Let me make sure I'm in focus for y'all. Newest ones up top here. So matte and velvety. Like, not velvety, but matte and leathery, I should say. Very leathery. It's about to outgrow this plank. I don't think it's attached. None of my plants attach to planks. None of my plants attached to planks or poles, only lazy poles. Lazy poles are the only things that work for me. I'm not sure why, but just is the way it is for me and my plants. I'm not gonna be upset about it. I have a little old leaf here. The old leaf is kind of pretty actually, but yeah, it's doing pretty good. It's in a little tiny pot with pon. Yeah, I think I have all my syngoniums in pon. I might have one in leca, but yeah, if you haven't noticed, most of my plants are in semi-hydro. I wouldn't say that there's any one best way and that I do it because that's the best way. I just do it because that's what works best with my watering habit. I'm an underwaterer, and living in Texas, my plants, I'm sure, would appreciate more consistent watering. So even before I moved to Texas, it was just easier for me to do semi-hydro. So that is it, guys. Oh, she's awake. Look at her tail. Okay, let me get you a slow pan of how it looks with the sun hitting it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this plant tour. If you did, feel free to watch my next video.